It's October at the Pueblo Railway Museum. Time once again to bring our annual creature feature, the Frankentrain, to the Pueblo Union Depot. Inside the D Street shop, our smiling spider and raggedy dolls are back for a visit. And our Reaper is as fearsome as ever, but he's no match for the new Lord of the Frankentrain, Draco the Dragon. Draco gets his name from a constellation of stars in the night sky. The horns on Draco's head tower almost 20 feet above the ground. The door of the D Street shop is big enough for a freight train engine, but not quite big enough for Draco. After successfully negotiating the shop doorway, Draco and his spooky sidekicks arrive at the Pueblo Union Depot ready for passengers. These friendly fellows are part of the Train of Terror, another event happening at the depot. This is the third year that members of the Pueblo Steel football team have borrowed some of the museum's train cars, added some seasonal decorations, and invited folks to come in and take a look around, if they dare. Frankentrain runs on the first 3 days of our event were picture perfect. Good crowds kept the train running, and the equipment performed flawlessly. Saturday, October 27th started out well, but little did we know that a Halloween gremlin was lurking inside our trackmobile. Halfway through that evening, with the Frankentrain at the far end of one of its runs, the gremlin struck. A quick shudder and a cloud of steam, and the trackmobile literally stopped in its tracks. This unfortunate mishap is a perfect example of why the Pueblo Railway Museum always has a team of volunteers on its train rides. Our trackmobile crew escorted our guests safely back to the depot, either on foot or by vehicle. Our Frankentrain, however, was done for the evening. A couple of days later, Dwight Maxey, Colin Moline, and Jerry Danderand got under the hood and replaced the trackmobile's broken fan belt. With the trackmobile repaired, the museum had hoped to run the Frankentrain for 2 more evenings, on October 30th and 31st. But Mother Nature brought cold, wet weather to rain on our Halloween parade, canceling the runs for those 2 days. Despite the reduced schedule, the Frankentrain event was a success for the museum, and once again, lots of museum volunteers contributed. Thanks to our Frankentrain decorators, Ron Roach, John McDowell, Dwight Maxey, and Deanna Applegate, seen here behind the ticket booth. Volunteer John McDowell and museum tour guide Ron Roach, pictured here, satisfied the taste buds of our train passengers with popcorn, hot dogs, and hot chocolate. Other volunteers added their efforts on the first event weekend: Colin Moline, Paul Brown, Petar Sredojevic, and Jerry Danderand. The second weekend saw even more volunteers join in the fun, with Reed Adams, Siggy and Mike Walker, and Gary Carter pitching in to help. Thanks, as always, to our wonderful patrons who came out to ride our trains. We hope you enjoyed your visit with us. One more recent event to mention: Saturday, November 10th. It's Pueblo's favorite reason to close the streets of historic downtown Pueblo, the annual Veterans Day Parade. The veterans representing the Pueblo Railway Museum in this year's parade were tour guide Ron Roach, volunteer John McDowell, and past volunteer Vincent Danderand. Your service to your country has set an inspiring example for future generations. And speaking of the future, Christmas time will be here before you know it, and with it comes our holiday favorite, the Pueblo Express Christmas Train. Colorful lights, colorful inflatables, and Christmas cheer. It all starts December 8th. We're looking forward to celebrating the season with you at the Pueblo Railway Museum.